sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below. Good evening, everybody, and welcome along again to Apex Online Racing. This is Season 20 of Xbox One F1. Tonight we go to round number 5, and for another new track on the calendar, it's the Circuit Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. Zandvoort was first opened in 1948, part of the wave of post-war motorsport enthusiasm that swept across Europe. The circuit situated in the west of Amsterdam, and for those of you that don't know, Netherlands means lower countries in reference to its low elevation and flat topography. It was 35 years ago that the great Niki Lauda took his 25th and final Grand Prix victory here at Zandvoort, coming from 10th on the grid to beat his McLaren teammate Alan Prost by just 2/10 of a second. There was also other notable winners here too. Let's have a look at the track. It has 14 corners, 4 to the left and 10 to the right, with 2 DRS zones. One at the start finish straight going towards turn 1, and then we got one at the end of sector 2 before the tight right-hander of turns 10 and 11. This is where we can see the most overtaking opportunities out here today. But don't rule out the other corners here either. This circuit, known as the real old school track with fast banked and challenging corners shaped like the natural dunes. But with a 50% race on offer, we're going to see a variety of strategies today. In real life, there could be some free stop strategies, but we don't know what it's going to be here like today. It's a level playing field for the drivers, and that should make things a lot more interesting. Okay, so 3 compounded tyres used for today's race. The softs, which is the C3s, the mediums, which is the C2s, and the hards, which is the C1s. Tyre degradation, not too bad, but the delta's been 0.6 slower between the softs and the mediums, 1.1 seconds slower between the softs and the hards. So, don't forget, there are the wet tyres though, should they be required. So hello, I am Jess, and I will be your commentator for Apex Online Racing as per usual, and I hope you're going to be enjoying the action we have this evening. So, 14 drivers with us, and a lot of people are in the middle of their qualifying laps. So Squishy Panda, she is on pole position with a 1:09.0, but we could expect pole times today to roughly be at the 1:08, 1:07 potentially. We could get lucky with the 1:07s, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, I joined qualifying just a little bit late, as I did see a car that just went off. I know John Pat went off, but I thought I saw a Ferrari or a Red Bull. But we know that King Kont has retired for the session. I think he might have had a qualifying ban, not entirely sure. There were a few post-race penalties that were applied after the race as well, so a bit unfortunate, but at least we can continue on with the race. Interestingly, John Pup, the guy that we're running on board now, is opting to do his lap on the medium tyres. Now, I thought more people would opt to go on the hards or the mediums for their banker laps, just so they can get a feel for the track, because obviously Zandvoort is new. Not many people have league raced there before, except if you're in multiple leagues. So it is intriguing, actually, because if this is the first time I'm racing in a league around Zandvoort, I would almost definitely put on the mediums, because, you know, you have 18 minutes, you do not have long to go, but obviously John Papp just wanted to go against everybody else, just have a bit of a feel for the track, and maybe it will go to its advantage later on, but you'll probably have less softs. So, we're going to go through the championship standings now. Majority of people are going into the pits. Oh my goodness. There was a maze that just went into KC there. And Casey has retired from the session, which means he's no longer allowed to set a lap in qualifying. I doubt that was his own fault, but I think both of them got a little bit too unlucky there. But we will have to wait and see. So, let's go through the standings for you. So, Bobbert has won 3 wins out of 4 races. The only one he didn't win was in the first race in Australia, where he took P7. Every other track, he got P1. In particular, the other new track on this game, Vietnam. He's sitting on 84 points. Humperdinck is sitting in second with 60 points, a 24-point gap there. Third place is Tom with 41 points in the Racing Point. Fourth place is Jonah in the Alfa Romeo with 35 points. Fifth place is Squishy Panda. She is on 34 points. Sixth place is King Cont. Where is he? He's retired. Okay. He's on 28 points. Seventh place, LGS. He was the other one to take the victory in Australia, but he hasn't had any wins since then. The only other points finish he had was in Vietnam. So he's looking favourite to get points here today. 8th place is Daegu with 25 points, I believe. Yeah. 9th place is Amazed with Alfio in 10th place. 11th place is Jet and Pancakes with 12 points. 12th place is John Pat with 10 points. 13th place is GC with 7 points. 14th place is one of the new Ferraris who's not here tonight on 2 points. 15th place is KC with 0 points. And we also got Hawk, the Haas cars of JJ Rocks. And I've forgotten what the other one was. And Delta yet to score. So, what do I like about this track? I especially love the banking going in towards turn 13 and 14. And you just gone past it, but the banking's definitely put a perfect picture into this. It reminds me of Indianapolis, and I need to get it absolutely right. And it's high speed, it's flowing, and it could be used as a testing track. There's not many overtaking opportunities around here, but that is why getting a good qualifying session here tonight is absolutely essential for these guys. If you don't get a good quality lap, then that's it. And since the majority of people have gone out already, it may give me an indication that we may see a change in weather conditions towards the end, but I don't have a clue on that one. But we will see. Usually, sometimes I do get weather updates from the drivers, but I haven't got any updates this week. So we are going to be going on board with a driver, which I need to try and find. Let's go on board with Alfio as he goes through to turn 1. Get in the DRS line as early as you possibly can. 150 metre board, first mark on the left side. Go deep as you hit that. Your late apex to the right, go full throttle. And then just wait until the car is straight before you go full throttle again. Short shift to 3rd. You're going to be going up to 7th. And then maybe into 8th. You're going to be going up the hill. Look for the left-hand yellow board for your downshift point into gear 6. Then go back into 7th gear. And then you go to the 50 metre board to get on the attack for the late apex. Alfio seems to be a bit squirmish there. Going into, I would say, I think it was turn 9, I believe. And then going into turn 10 and 11 is where we hit the second DRS. You're going to maximise traction, open a DRS. Your next braking point is just before the curb starts on the left-hand side. Really aggressive here, going into the right. And drift out and then go into 2nd gear, and he's slowing down, so he's not on a lap. Who is also on a lap as well at the nearest point? We go with Jakey, actually. Next reference is around about here. He got purple set to 2. This is where you go on the power early on. This is the banking that I was talking about earlier on as he goes towards the final corner. Taking the shortest run to the line, and what does he get? A 108.4. I did say people going to the 108 today. And that is what Jakey done quite comfortably indeed. Now, Jakey is a reserve driver. I believe he's gone full-time now in the Renault. He got 12th place last week, which was unfortunate, but he's looking to score a lot better this week. And who else is on that? We got Tom in the pits. Now, there's a few people that be struggling to get into the session, so hopefully we won't have the problem going into the race, but we still got a few more people on their laps actually. Jonah has invalidated again. Now, Zandvoort is one of those tracks where getting penalties is quite common. When I've done my team, I was so close to not getting a penalty. I was like, I think one warning off a penalty, and you know that just goes to show that if you get less penalties around here, you can get rewards. Really, and I would say, looking at the track map, I would say heading towards turn 11 and 12 is where a lot of people could potentially be caught out, and then towards turn 13 is the next potential corner. I think a lot of people can get caught out as well, so something to watch out for in this race. As Jonah goes out again. I don't know why he's going out again, because he's on one lap older tyres. But if it's raining in the race, then it could not be a bad idea. I was doing a race yesterday where I made the mistake to go onto a used set of softs. But luckily it was full wets in the race anyway, so it did not matter. And surprisingly, I got on faster. So it was a mistake learnt, and hopefully I won't do it again. But it worked in my favour. But for some other guys, if they push their tyres to the absolute limits, if they go on the wrong tyres at the wrong time, then it could definitely pull themselves from the top of the grid to nearly like the mid half of the grid, like the bottom of the grid. So, let's see what Jonah could do. I think Jonah's going to go into the pits. Oh, he's invalidated again. I did say turn 13 into turn 14 can cost you. And I think he has to go into the pits right now. There's no way he could settle up now. But he's got 6 minutes left, so he's got plenty of time. Squishy Panda, she's going to start her flying lap, her next fly lap. She's in the 109s, but she's very, very close to be getting in to the 108 here tonight. I think quite a lot of people are getting close to it as well. Looking at the gaps, it's around about 9/10 of a second separating between first and 10th place. So pretty impressive, I've got to say. Obviously, 2 people cannot continue their runs, and we've still got John Pap and Tom left to go. Now, Tom is on that right now. Remember, he got pole in Australia. Hasn't quite capitalised on that recently, but he's remained consistent. He's got a 9th in Bahrain, a P2 in Vietnam. So he's looking, I think he's looking quite good to get a podium here in Zandvoort as well, due to the level playing field as well. A little bit of a lock up at the moment. He's looking pretty quick on his lap, and he got a P6 in China. So he's been in the points every single race, and consistency is key, as George Russell would say. So here he goes, does AMS Tom. Thought he was going to go to the pits there, but he's taking a really good line, puts himself into P4, 108.9. And not the first person to go in the 108.9, I think it was the 4th person in fact. Humperdinck is also in the 108.9s as well, in 3rd place. We've got Bobbers in the 108.7s and Jakey B in the 108.4s. We got a Maze as well, almost onto the 1 minute 8. I have a feeling he's going to go into the 1 minute 8 at some point. A lot of these guys do prefer Zandvoort to Vietnam, and I've got to say, Zandvoort is one of my favourite new tracks on the game. I just hate Vietnam with a passion. For those of you that were watching the 3rd round of Xbox One F1, probably know why. Mainly, I've already explained the reasons why, but one of the first tracks I tried in the game, I tried Silverstone, then the next track I tried was Zandvoort, and it just felt absolutely amazing. As Maze going to the pit, so he's not going to get another lap in until around about a minute's time, when there's much clearer air. Let's see what Alfio can do. Let's hope his lap doesn't get invalidated, because he's ever so close to the top bunch at the moment. There is no room for error for these guys. So let's see. Alfio's looking pretty good. No invalidations this time. And that puts him into P2. So that looking pretty impressive for him. So it just goes to show, having a good mindset could really set you up for big and greater things. Don't forget about the past and concentrate with the future, basically. Just don't let your mistakes that you made get you down, because that's where we've seen a lot of people make even more mistakes, get into sort of a bit of a rage for something like that. So, you know, that is something that you don't want to happen. There was one race where I definitely was having a rubbish race, and the things just got to me, and had a few incidents because of it, and I got a few penalties. So, you know, don't do it me, ladies and gentlemen. I can't remember which track it was, but might be Singapore or Australia. I can't remember, but it was on the last game anyway. I just let the bad things get to me there. There's quite a few people now going in into the pit lane. Let us know your predictions, guys, on who you think is going to be getting pole position for the Dutch Grand Prix for Xbox One F1. And the constructors are looking pretty tasty as well. Which is interesting. We've got 5 different constructors in the top 5 of the Drivers' Championship. which I've got to say is pretty good. And let's hope we can keep it that way, because it's going to make the Constructors' Championship even more exciting. Jakey B is going out on his out lap again, and Jonah, I don't think he's going to have time to set one more lap in, so he probably will have to go into the pit lane. John Pappy's on his out lap now. He did the same last week, had much cleaner air, and that catapulted him to near the top of the standings, and we might see the same this week. Let's hope he had some good luck this week. He got a P5 last week, which was pretty good. Obviously, he would like better than a P5. He is aiming for a podium this week. I am worried I might have jinxed him a little bit, but, you know, I think a lot of these guys would prefer podiums, but for some of these guys, it's kind of a race for attrition. You want to make it to the end, and especially on your first race around this track. If you do well here, it's going to help you with the other tracks, with that boosted confidence. I think a lot more people would be a little bit more confident on the other tracks compared to Danforth, but we'll see. So John Papp about to start his final lap now. Delta going in at 2. I need to actually get the track map. That would help Jessica me getting the track map out, but we just got past turn, I believe, turn 11, and then to a little kink of turn 12. Delta's slowing down a bit so he gets a cleaner air, because look at the traffic going towards sector 2. If he doesn't get a move on, then he's really not going to have the best lap at all. So he just wants to make sure he has the best chance of getting a good lap as possible. Now, who is caught in that traffic? Oh, John Papp's lost a bit of his front wing, and there's quite a bit of damage there, so he's not going to set a good lap time. So he needs to go into the pits now, and his tyres are not good either. So LGS on an out lap as well. And we've got yellow flags in sector 3 and sector 2 at the moment. So as all the field are trying to spread out, that's what the yellow flags are for. And John Papp has retired from the session. So we've got 30 seconds remaining of the session. It is the calm before the storm here tonight. We've seen PS4 have some really good battles at the start of the race. I wonder how this is going to fare for turn 1. So if you don't get a good move into the first few laps, then the chances of you getting a good result is second to none, unless you get the strategy right. I've noticed that the undercut is quite powerful on this game. I've done it quite a lot in my team, and a few times I have not done the undercut. The ones who did the undercut got in front of me. So it is very, very important to time it well. And undercuts are definitely easier when you're stuck in traffic, because obviously you don't want to get held up, and you're going to lose more time you get stuck in traffic rather than if you just pit a lap earlier. So Jakey B cannot improve. He's 1.84 for him. Alfio can't improve either. He has invalidated. Now we've got 2 of the Mercedes about to cross the line. Look at this. Amaze and Humperdinck giving the toe, but that has only improved Humperdinck's time by 6 100ths of a second. Roberts, the championship leader then, is looking to score his 4th win from 5th races here tonight. Looking to score a pole position. The last few times he started 4th or 3rd, so it's not too bad from where he is, because he usually gets a really good start. Alfio obviously has invalidated, so he can't get a good lap time either. Alfio remains in 3rd position. Now we're about to go into the qualifying results here tonight. Do you see your favourite driver? Well, we will have to wait and see. So Jakey B lines up on pole with Tom in 2nd. Tom got a bit close there, only by 0.2 of a second. But I wonder how much time he would have lost, and that might have costed him that pole position. Alfio in 3rd, Bobbert in 4th, Humperdinck in 5th place, Jonah in 6th, Daegu in 7th place, LGS in 8th, Squishy Panda in 9th place. Amaze rounds up your top 10. We've got Delta in 11th. They get free choice of tyres once outside the top 10. We've got Delta, John Papp, KC and King Cont. And I don't have to scroll down this week, which is really, really good. I wonder what King Cont would have felt like, and KC. Well, KC especially, after getting caught up in that incident earlier on in qualifying. I bet he would have felt a little bit too down on himself, but at least he can focus on the race, because with the majority of these guys, race pace can be a lot better. So we are going to get started with this race. But before we get started with the race, we are going to go and have a look a little bit at the classic cars and take you back to 2010. Now 2010 was where we saw Sebastian Vettel took the Drivers' World Championship, and there were 5 cars potentially that could win the title that year, and it was absolutely amazing. It was a year after obviously Jenson Button won his title with the Bronze, and Jenson Button got moved into the McLaren seat alongside Lewis Hamilton, and I enjoyed that year. Close rivalries as well, and if Alonso didn't make that mistake and didn't get held up, then he would have won that title. But Vettel pulled off a great performance in Abu Dhabi. I don't think he led the championship once until Abu Dhabi, and then he won it. So it just goes to show it's not over until the end of the season. If you're not leading the championship at the end of the season, then that's where the points lie, to be honest. So, you know, and also some other great seasons as well in history. 2012, of course, where we saw multiple winners in so many races. It was absolutely incredible. And we also saw lots of other things go on as well. And there were some quite more dominant years, like 2013, where we saw a German win majority of the races, and Red Bull took the Constructors' title. But now we see the good old Mercedes outfit be dominant ever since 2014. Now, we are gonna, someone has gone off in turn 1, and that was Humperdinck and John Papp already on the formation lap. That is not a good sight, to tell you the truth. So, let's look at the tyres then. Now, very intriguing to find out that quite a few people have gone on the medium tyres. Now, if I was some of these drivers today, probably softs to hards will be the best strategy, but I think the mediums will go soft to hards. No, mediums to hards. I have seen a few people do mediums to softs, but if there's any safety cars, it could work. So maybe Casey and King Kont and Delta as well, maybe predicting for that early safety car. And the crossover point is going to be interesting as well. So watch out for the pit window. Soft to hard lap 11 to 13, maybe slightly earlier, maybe slightly later. Mediums lap 14 to 16. And if they were doing hard to soft, which nobody was doing, but I will explain anyway, they would go until lap 22 and 24. So let's go from outside the top 10. All in the mediums, we've got Delta, John Papp, Casey, and King Kont. So, are you ready to start the Dutch Grand Prix around one of my favourite circuits on this game, Zandvoort? So, the 5 red lights are about to come on. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to be winning this race. Thank you to those of you who have just joined us here today for Apex Online Racing. Don't forget to check our sponsors as well, Hype Energy, Elgato, and GT Amiga Racing. So, we're just waiting for the last person to cross the line, which is good. So, the 5 red lights are on, and the strategy's popped up on my screen, but ignore about that at the moment. Let's see who's going to have the better getaway out of Jakey or Tom. It is lights out, and away we go. And the one who has the best start is Jakey by the looks of things. But Tom is trying to make the move into turn 1. Couldn't make the stick at the moment. It's hard to see with the ghosted cars at this stage, but yet again, like last week, Jakey getting a really clean getaway. Bobberts, though, has had an awful start at the... Actually, no, I don't know about Bobberts, actually. But Bobberts started 4th place, don't forget. He's all the way down to around about 9th place, 6th place, I've got to say. So that is not good. But hopefully he can capitalise on this because he is very, very quick. But we shall see, of course. Meanwhile, hopefully the order doesn't change very much. Yeah, Bobberts is in 7th place. So I wasn't that far off at the moment. And he's right on the back of a maze going in towards turn 9 and heading towards turn 10. Let's see how he goes early on the power. Not using his overtake yet until right now as we head towards turn 11. Does he get to the inside? Nope, he does not. Condegu goes off into the wall of turn 12 and he is out. Well, KC is out of the session. Interesting. So I thought I saw Condegu go off, but I might have seen Casey go off just a little bit after that. I'm not entirely sure, but that has caused a virtual safety car. And that might mean that a few people may take advantage of pitting. Bobberts is in the pits at the moment. Is he changing a bit for its front wing? Looks like it. So Bobberts has got a bit of front wing damage and he's going onto the hard compounded tyres. Now, If he goes on the hard tyres now, which he is, the hards are not going to make it until the end of this race. He will have to pit again onto the softs around about laps 24 to 26. It's not going to be too bad for him. Jakey is dreaming of this start for a very, very long time. He hasn't got Bobbers in his sights at the moment, but he's got Tom, who's been a pole sitter before, and it's going to be a lot of pressure at the moment. So Casey didn't even make it past lap 1, which is unfortunate, but we've got, I believe, it's Monaco. No, it's not Monaco next week, it's Spain next week. And from what I've heard, Casey has performed better in Spain in the past, so maybe it'll be a better track for him. Fingers crossed, so better luck to him on that one. So there's the end of the VSC at the moment, so a chance for more people to make some moves, just like Alfio on Tom. He's got full ERS. A lot of people were saving their ERS during this VSC period as well, getting the better run at this stage. No DRS at the moment because they just passed the detection point, but that doesn't mean Alfio can get close to them at the moment. Quite a few people could be stuck in a DRS train. Meanwhile, Jakey has already pulled away from Tom's out of DRS range, but Tom is determined to get into Jakey's DRS range, so he is not in a huge disadvantage with Alfio catching like a hawk. Same with Humperdinck as well. Humperdinck 8 tenths per second behind these guys. Amazed for only 5 tenths, but he's dropping down a little bit into this part of Sector 1 and heading towards the end of Sector 1 into Sector 2. And due to the fact that these guys have been battling for quite some time, Jakey's allowed to bring the gap up to 1.5 seconds, which is what he wanted. And this could play a huge factor if, say, Jakey B gets penalties. And if Jakey B gets penalties, like, say, 3 seconds, if he does a roundabout of gets into a certain gap, then he'll still be able to win this race. But don't count your chickens. As Amazed almost gone off there. He just about saved the car a little bit there. But anyway, here comes Jonah trying to make a move on Amazed. He's got the DRS. He's gaining. He's a prancing horse here in Zandvoort. He's going to take the left-hand side. Amazed to the right. Who said you can't overtake here in Zandvoort? Jonah's going to try and get the switch back here. Going in to turn 2 and heading towards turn 3. 50-metre board here. Just a slight brake and gear shift into gear 5. Now into gear 2 and into gear 3. At the moment, now going down the hill ever so slightly and then going up the hill. Unfortunately, Jonah couldn't quite make it on this occasion, but Jonah has got to get a move on. Squishy Panda is right on the back of this. She can sense a chance to make the move, and she's probably going to wait there for quite some time. But she's going to be getting worried about getting caught as well, because we've got LGS on the back of this as well. John Pap 2, Delta, and King Continue as well. Just look at that train. Absolutely insane. We're already on lap 4. There is 36 laps that await this circuit. And obviously we've done 3 already. So we're on pretty much 33 laps to go. And it's one of the shortest laps on the calendar. Let's see if there's any more closer battles. Can Alfio get closer to Tom? Nope, he cannot. Tom pulling away just a little bit more now. Tom finding a little bit more pace. But that look-up probably not helped him there. I think expect to see a few more lockups tonight as people try and find their breaking points. Some people are not used to this track. A few people are used to this track than others, so probably will expect a few less lockups from them. As let's see, Alfio again. I've seen a few people overtake here, but not many people have overtaken around here. So we're probably going to see around turn 10 into 11 is where we'll probably see it. Turn 12 into 13. And then going into the start-finish straight and into turn 1. That is probably where we're going to see the most overtake. And possibly turn 9 into turn 10 as well. Could happen if you play your cards right. There could be some people just make careless little mistakes. And that can help some people but hinder others. Now we're watching John Pap on LGS now, who is closing up to this train. 5 tenths now. He's on the medium compounded tyres. The crossover point is not at this point yet, but when it gets to crossover point, watch out for John and close the gap a little bit more. But John is quicker than LGS, even on those medium compounded tyres. So maybe LGS must be feeling a little bit wide, but don't forget the dirty air around Zandvoort is huge when you get stuck behind other cars. That's what I found as well. My soft tyres, when I started on the soft compounded tyres, was overheating a lot because I was in probably a 3, 4, 5 car battle. So that is what these guys are experiencing, and I do not want to be in their shoes, but it's nice to have a little bit of a battle now and again. Don't forget, King Kong started from last position, and he's looking to get even higher than that, as here we go. King Kong late on the brakes here. Brilliant move into the hairpin, into turn 8 and 9 and into turn 10. Awesome stuff. We can see Delta is not giving up without a fight. Still going side by side. Who's going to get the DRS though? It is Delta, but he stays behind. So maybe Delta is probably staying behind him for a strategy call so he can get the DRS, knowing that King Kong now is out of DRS range of his teammate, John Papp. So Delta then, getting a better run here into turn 1. King Kong trying to make the slipstream as early as he possibly can into turn 1 now. I think Delta has a better exit and a little slide touch from him and King Kong. I think there was probably a racing incident there. There was nothing more that both of them could have done, I think. Usually I found around here, if you put too much turn in, then sometimes you can get into a little half spin and cause the other car to spin, not on purpose, obviously. So that is very unfortunate. I don't think King Kong had any damage though, but again, I will be double checking that. Unfortunately, you can't see how much damage they have in the car. You can only see the visuals of if they have damage or not. Now, Bobbett's already 8.1 seconds behind everybody else, so which is a shame, but who knows? We may be seeing a different winner, but it will be absolutely amazing if Bobbett's potentially pulls in a comeback drive of dreams to be able to, for him to take his 4th victory from 5th races. However, anything can happen in Formula 1. So we're heading towards lap, well, we're on lap 8 at the moment. Tom is in the lead. Jakey has gone into the pit lane a lot earlier than I thought, actually. So I wonder if he's got damage that I didn't see. So let me have a look. Oh, Jakey has, the only one that appeared for damage was Bobbert. So, and the pit, so I'll check the pit stop. 2.5, so that's not a bad pit stop from him. So I'm guessing he's doing the undercut. I was not expecting him to do the undercut this early though. The hard compound tyres last around about 24 to 26 laps. So it could work. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. I think it should just be about fine, but he's going to hope for some safety cars, because otherwise he's going to be in punch territory. If he can make it work, brilliant stuff. But Alfio is responding to the challenge there, so we're going to be seeing Alfio going into the pits right now as he goes onto the hard compounded tyres. The pit loss around here is around about 16 seconds, so not as much as other tracks. Probably around about the same time as Canada. Obviously, Canada will be going to later on in the season, and Canada is well known for doing a two-stop strategy. Two-stop strategy around Canada is definitely the fastest, but around here, due to the tyre wear and temperatures around here, it's definitely not the fastest doing a two-stop. But the ones on the mediums may about to prove us wrong here. We shall see. I wonder if how a two-stop would work around here if they had to do it. But we will never know, because obviously they'll be doing one stop. Tom is, I think, going to be staying out, but I wonder if Tom will have to respond, even though he thinks that the tyres can't make it to the end. But he doesn't want to take that gamble, so he stays out. Humperdinck stays out too. What about Amaze? He stays out as well. So the majority of the front guys who have yet to pit yet have not taken that risk. Maybe due to the fact that the majority of these guys want to fight and they'll be stuck in that traffic. And the more you get stuck in that traffic, like I said, the more your tyres overheat and the more your tyres wear. So probably pitting when the pit window, just before the pit window, is the safest option to avoid any trouble at the end. Let's see how John Papp is doing with the crossover point now. Even closer. The crossover point around about, I would say, lap 13, I would say, or even a bit earlier, around about lap 10, I would say. But we'll have to find out. I think the crossover point is definitely now. As it looks like John Papp is going to get a better lunge here. He's got the DRS. Is he going to make the lunge into turn 11? No, both of them had a lock up and stayed behind, so both of these guys have lost a bit of time there, which is a bit of a shame, but it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And we're going to see John Papp going side by side into turn 1. Easy does it there. A few more people going into the pits. Condegu getting a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is not what you want at this early stages of the race. We've got Jonah into the pits as well, responding to that undercut, going for the overcut on, I would say, Jakey B. But unfortunately, the gap wasn't meant to be due to the fact that he was stuck in traffic, and he's now down into 12th place. But if Jakey B struggles on his tyres towards the end, this strategy can work in his favour in 12th place. So, we are approaching the pit window. So, we could see Tom just hitting a little bit of a bump there, which is a bit interesting. But probably if the first few guys here will be opting to pit now. And I think Tom is going to be doing it. We'll have to wait and see. Is Tom going to go into the pits? Yes, he does. Tom goes into the pits now. The Racing Point garage is near the middle, so he's not going to get held up too much, even if other people pit. So he's going to go onto the hard tyres. Other people that pitted, Squishy Panda and King Continue as well, opted for the same strategy. Actually, no, not King Continue. Squishy Panda and LGS, sorry. And we can see Alfio, both of them going side by side. Which is going to work, the undercut or the overcut? Most likely the undercut. I told you it was very, very powerful on this game. And Alfio just picked up a little bit of the gravel there, so I might have lost a bit of time and wear, but, you know, Alfio has now got to concentrate now to make sure that his tyres are up to good temperature. And he can keep Tom behind him as well. But you can see the gap closing up between Tom and Bobbitts. 3.9 seconds now. But don't forget, Bobbitts still needs to pit again due to his incident he had earlier on. I thought more people would have got front wing damage. But I'm guessing for some of them, they might have chosen to wait up a little bit until the end of their first stint and then pit and then get the damage repaired, especially if it's minor. So Humperdinck goes out now. Humperdinck, interestingly, is going on the medium. So I think, personally, I'm not entirely sure about this, but I think Humperdinck is going on a two-stop strategy, which can be faster, but only if you can make it work. And the only way you can make it work is make sure you get that gap down to a T and try and get past Tom. If you don't get past Tom, then your soft, medium strategy will work out for nothing. There's no way the softs and mediums can last to the end unless there's a safety car. The softs last 12 to 14 laps, the mediums last 18 to 20 laps. We're around about 23 laps to go until the end of this race, and we got a safety car. Now, I did say Humperdinck was hoping for a safety car, and that's worked wonders. Maybe Humperdinck can get those medium tyres till the end of this race. We'll have to wait and see. But this is giving a free pit stop for Amaze. So he comes into the pits right now for a change of stop. And to be honest, I was predicting a safety car happening at this point. So I am not really surprised that it has happened at this later stage. So Tom, the ones we just pitted have come out. That puts Jakey back in the lead again. But unfortunately, John Papp has left the session and he's DNF'd. And that was what caused his safety car by the looks of things. And that is a shame. Another race to add to his bad luck. But, you know, sometimes you need bad races to have the good ones. So hopefully John Papp will have better luck in Spain. Now, who has... I think everybody that should have pitted has pitted. The only ones that haven't pitted, obviously, were Jakey, obviously, who pitted a bit earlier. He can stretch those hard tyres a bit longer now. Same for likes of Alfio and Tom as well, who pit. Humperdinck, he's in 4th place. Maze in 5th. Squishy Panda in 6th. Squishy Panda, she's not having a bad race at the moment. Looking to score some points. Delta in 7th place at the moment on the hards. Jonah in 8th place with 2 lap-old hards. And we got 9th place, which is LGS, 1 lap-old hards. 10th place, King Cont on the hards, just pitted with Bobberts. And Daegu! Oh my goodness, Delta! Delta, I think, lost it there going into turn 13 and 14. That is a bit of a shame. I don't think everybody else got collected there. So I think he just spun on his own. And as you can see, the lovely helicopter shot. And we have got, I think, his tyres is not good whatsoever. Especially the rear tyres, I think. So he's got to keep a watchful eye of his tyre temps. And I wonder how the safety cars helped. I think it's helped everyone. I think LGS had the one to lose from this situation because he was stuck in the traffic and he would have gained quite a few positions if obviously the safety car hadn't happened. Same with, I would say, Jonah as well, and Squishy Panda. I think everybody else, I think, pretty much gained from this situation. Bobbers is now up to 9th. Obviously, he would have gained from this situation as well. And since everybody is caught up, I think the safety car will be going in this lap, which it is. Now, let's see how that is going to play out for these drivers. Jakey is the safety car. He's holding it up a little bit too early there. You can see the safety car in the map on the right-hand side. And now you can see a train of cars all following Jakey B. Jakey B looking to get his first win. Can he get his first win yet tonight? And he's really early on the restart. He wants to get going straight away here. Going into the start-finish straight then. And we go green and flag racing here at Zandvoort. And we got a yellow flag already. And Delta has spun again. I think Delta spun at the same place. And that was due to his tyre temps. I won't be surprised if he does retire from the Grand Prix, which he does, unfortunately. What a shame for him. So we're already down to 11 drivers, which means you have more of a chance of actually getting points than not getting points. So we will have to wait and see how this plays out for the rest of the race then. So we've got Humperdinck, who's going side by side in with Tom at the moment. Tom almost losing out here. Alfio into 2nd place already, which is absolutely insane. This has definitely helped Alfio on those fresher tyres. Alfio, purple sector 2. He is going ever very quick at this moment in time. Alfio, let's see if he's got more ERS than Jakey. Jakey's got more ERS to play with, so Jakey could go a little bit more defensive going towards turn 1. But Alfio is looking to impress here in Xbox One F1, and sometimes you gotta have a bit of luck as well in order to have good races. And Alfio almost going off a little bit. That might have gained Tom some more time behind as well. There's loads of battles happening as well between the two Mercedes. I wonder if there's team orders going on in the Mercedes garage. Probably. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll have to find out. Amaze is one of those drivers who likes to take a lot of risks here. Remember USA last season, where he was the showman, and it definitely entertained me and Daiso as well. And I wonder if he's going to show the same here today. He's had quite a good few races this season, actually. Just goes to show that he's not one to be underestimated with. As he goes towards turn 11 and 12 now. Still on the back of these guys. Tom's going to be a disadvantage. No DRS for him. Amaze got DRS though, and so is Humperdinck. Amaze is also going to be getting the tow from his teammate during the start-finish straight. So I wonder if that's going to work well in his favour at the moment. Now, a little bit of a lock-up from Humperdinck. That might lost Amaze so much time. Bobbert's now been to P6. Jonah up down. There's quite a few winners and losers from this situation. Let me have a look at position changes. There we go. So Alfio's gained 1. Humperdinck's gained 1. Amaze has gained 5. Squishy Panda has gained 2. King Continue has gained 4 positions. Then we have a few biggest losers as well. AMS Tom has dropped down 1. Bobberts has dropped down 2. Jonah has dropped down 2. LGS has dropped down 1. And Kont Daegu has dropped down 4 positions this race. We're already halfway into this race already. Who would have thought it? Here around Zandvoort. And it is getting less sunnier here in Zandvoort on some parts of the track, which means the track temperatures will differ just a little bit towards the latter half of this race. We're around about 20 minutes into the race now, and I wonder who is still an opening on who's going to win this race. Meanwhile, Humperdinck just made a brilliant move past Tom. So Humperdinck is now up into 3rd place. Bobbert's got past Amaze there as well, going into turn 1. So Bobberts is back on the charge. The race win is still not off the cards for Bobberts. If it wasn't for that safety car, I think Bobberts would have had some really bad luck. So the race win is still on for Bobberts, and that's what he's thinking about at the moment. He's in the championship lead. He has the most to lose in this situation. So I wonder how this is going to affect for the rest of this race, as does a majority of these drivers. The gap now between 1st and 2nd place, almost 2 seconds now. The gap between 2nd and 3rd, 1.3. But the more these guys keep battling, the more that the top 2 are just basically just going to run away with it. And you don't want that. So Amaze is going to be like, get a move on, guys. I want to get past you, he says. So Amazed is going to try and go for the lunge into turn 1, but he's staying behind. And he'll be 2 further back, around about 3 tenths. He potentially will be 2 tenths or 1 tenth behind to potentially get advantage here, but it does depend on the corner. There are some corners where you can be 2 tenths behind, and you cannot lose a bit of time. So it is up to the drivers to make sure that they get it absolutely right, absolutely spot on here in Zandvoort. And you never know, the conditions could get better. There may have been a slight overcast moment, but it could be nice and sunnier towards the end, and especially when the sun blinds you. That could cause a little bit of chaos, I've got to say. I found it quite tricky. It started off overcast in one of my Zandvoort races. It got really sunny towards the end, and I was like, especially going towards the banking area was where I lost so much time because of it, because you can barely see. But I had racing line on, whereas all these guys, no assists in the top tier, obviously, including line. You're not allowed to have line on for the top tier. This is the best of the best, of course. And Tom making a little bit of a mistake there. I wonder if Amazed can capitalise on that. And we shall see then, as we're now going to go through the Armaco Bridge, which is seeing quite a lot of bridges by that sponsor. And now you're going to move to the left here. I thought Maze was going to try and have a look around the right-hand side, but unfortunately, that's just not happening. So, yellow flag in sector 1 and sector 2. It is LGS who has binned it in. Let me just have a look at the track map. The track map, he binned it. Turn 7. He binned it into turn 7. Now going into turn 8. And into turn 9. And now heading in towards turn 10. So yeah, that is a bit of a shame for him. But there's still a long way to go on lap 21. We've still got 16 laps to go in this race. Now 15, I believe. And whilst we are talking about fastest laps, Shaky B has just set the fastest lap of this race so far, which is very impressive. 3.6 is the gap. Not many people have got penalties. Only a few drivers have got penalties. So well done to everybody for keeping it clean so far. It just goes to show practice does make perfect. Some people just practice on the night before. Sometimes I do that as well. But that's only if you like just do it for fun and don't care about the result, which is what I do sometimes. But if you're training for the likes of like F1 esports, we've seen people on F1 esports train every single day for like 7 to 8 hours a day, treating it like a job. Like, they're taking it so seriously. If you want to get into F1 esports, you've got to be on the top of your game, practicing as often as you can. Obviously, if you have a job or a real life job, or if you have school, then you can't obviously practice 8 hours a day. But try and practice as much as you can if you want to get into F1 esports. And don't forget, sign-ups for F1 esports are open if you want to sign up for the latest event, which I do believe is still Monza. It's going on for a month now, and it is nice to see a few familiar faces on this platform do so well in the F1 eSport qualifiers so far. And I need to actually try and remember how many people from each platform go through to the Challenger Series. I think it's 2, I believe, from each platform. But I probably might be wrong. I probably might be thinking about time trial or another set of situations. Now, the only battle we are seeing so far on track at the moment is between, I think, Squishy Panda, Amazed, Jonah, King Kong maybe going back in this as well. Everybody else has got a little bit of a gap. We've also got Bobbert on Humperdinck as well. Humperdinck might be getting wide because Bobbert is chasing down with the ERS now. The DRS now. Tom almost in DRS range of Bobbert's. So this is going to get the part. This is going to be a little bit more interesting as we head towards the final third of this race. Less sunnier now. And I do see a bit of dark clouds forming, so we could see rain towards the end of the race. You'll never know. I haven't been told about the weather, unfortunately. And that's a good thing, because usually in Xbox One F1, I like to keep the weather a little bit of surprise. And if they do tell me, then I get spoiled, which is a bit annoying, obviously. So, but anyway, we are about to see who is going to close up to Bobberts in the championship. Can Bobberts still extend his championship lead? We will only find out in about 13 laps time. Heading into the final 12 laps pretty soon now. And Bobberts is looking good. Tom is looking good now. Tom is within DRS now. But he lost it in the detection zone. That is a shame. That is gutting. That is gutting right now. 1.001. That could cost a few positions, I think. Because you can see Amaze is on his tail at the moment. Amaze has got the DRS as well. So, Amaze must be thinking, I'm loving this. And it's nice to see a few more battles around here. A bit more than I was expecting. I know some of the field is quite spread out here in Zandvoort. But, however, that is to be expected, of course. Because it is hard to overtake, like I said earlier on in the stream. Gap now, 0.2 of a second now between Bobberts and Humperdinck. So the gap is forming now. All three of these drivers, Humperdinck and Bobbers has DRS, so that might cost Bobbers. Because the more cars you have DRS with and you're fighting for, the less chance you're going to have to potentially get that overtake done into turn 11 and 12, which he doesn't do. So, almost hitting that red and white curb. If you hit that sausage curb, then pretty much you'll toast. But luckily, both of them have not hit that, which is great to see. As I take a little bit of a sip of my drink there as we start the final third of this race. And we're going to see then, penalties could be a deciding factor. Let me have a check of penalties actually, as Bobbers hits the back of Humperdinck. I was going to be checking penalties, but after that, yeah, I'm not going to be checking penalties after that one. So, yeah, I'm just going to wait until potentially this battle unfolds. And we also got Tom and the mate as well. So, both of the Mercedes drivers are fighting for position here. And this is what we like to see. The Mercedes drivers being challenged. We've got a yellow flag. That is a Haas car. And that is Dago, who I think just spinned it a little bit in the pit lane. And that doesn't look good on his right wing, does it? Yeah, no it doesn't. So, unfortunately, he'll have to go into the pits again. But no harm is lost. Hopefully, he does not retire because he can still salvage a point. So, the only way you can learn from your mistakes is you carry on racing. But you can see that he's already losing so much downforce. It's costing him. Meanwhile, Humperdinck and Bobbers going side by side into turn 1. Bobbers was even closer. Getting a better traction here. Side by side into turn 2 and into turn 3. Getting the cut back. Bobbers is going to try. He's not giving up, is he? A little bit of a swerve from Bobbers might have cost him a little bit. Tom wants to slide to the action as well. He decided to stay back. And it's raining. Who would have thought it? In Zandvoort, it is raining. So it is a dry to wet race, ladies and gentlemen. But the question is, will it rain hard enough to go on to the intermediate tyres? Or will they have to stay on these tyres until the end? Maybe that's why Jakey pit earlier for those hard tyres. Maybe that's why a few people a few people on the mediums may have pitted earlier before that safety car period. Because it wouldn't have mattered. So Jakey has played the strategy card to perfection. I did not know the weather. These guys did. If there wasn't any rain, Jakey I think would have pitted a lot earlier. Not later, I mean. So, oh my goodness. These final few laps, I'm excited for. Not many people have practiced for the rain in Zandvoort, I have got to say. And I'm one of those guilty parties. I hardly practice for wet races. And if I do practice for races that potentially could be wet, there's no rain. If I don't practice for them, it rains. So the trick in the trade, always practice for wet races. And you'll always get the slightest inkling that it shouldn't rain. And a masterclass you'd love to see. And massive shout out to Kenyon101 who's in the chat. And for those of you that are still in the chat, please do say hello. We don't bite. We're really friendly. And obviously I am checking the chat throughout the stream to see what is going on. Now you can see the rain is not falling hard enough for everybody to go into the pits. But we may see quite a few people take the gamble to go onto those intermediate tyres a little bit earlier than I thought. And if I was them, I probably would have done the silly mistake of pitting. But nobody's going to do that. I think the only one who has to really is Dago. He has no choice really. But he's going to lose so much time. But you never know. It's coming down quite fast, so it is. But I can see it's a little bit impossible to tell if it is going to go heavy. I'm not sure, so we will see, of course. We're almost at the end. Anything can happen in Formula 1. As the main point we're going to see is if we see the DRS disabled icon, then that is when we'll get a true indication as to if the track is suitable for the wet conditions. Now, I did believe I might have saw one, but it may have popped a little bit faster, but it's not. And quite a few people staying out. Alfio staying out. Humperdinck probably, is he going to stay out? Yes, he does. Bobber stays out, but he's getting a better run on Humperdinck going into turn 1. This could be huge for our championship leader. Humperdinck is in P2 at the championship. Championship rivals, both going side by side into these tight little left and right handers. Going into that apex goes Bobbert, and he retains that position. A brilliant move from Bobbert, and a fantastic battle between Bobbert and Humperdinck there for P3. I did say the battle for the win could not be over, and it would be a great comeback drive, if I do say so myself, for Bobbert if he could pull this off. So make sure you watch until the end of this race. Grab your popcorn out, because, you know, it's going to get very, very intriguing, to say the least. So, what is Jakey doing at the moment? Jakey going towards the banking, and you can see it is very slippery on the track, a little bit damp. I almost saw Jakey going to the right hand side, but again he opts to stay out as well. I think all of these guys are just waiting for the DRS sign to go to disabled, but sometimes it may not be enough. You may be struggling so much, you may be losing so much time because of it. So, and we've got Daegu taking the risk, but he's got nothing to lose because he was last anyway. A few people getting lapped, I believe. So I'm guessing Con Daegu wants to stay there for a bit of fun. So fair play to Con Daegu. He gets the Endeavour Award. So well done to him. Good job for him for keeping his cool when the going gets tough, I've got to say. So good job. And we are starting to see, I think Tom doesn't like the traffic, especially the ghost cars. And I do find on this game, the ghost cars can be a little bit distracting in terms of battling, because obviously the ghost cars, even though they're ghosts, it can hold you up a little bit. Meanwhile, Amaze and Squishy Panda both going side by side, as well as Tom as well. Tom losing a few more positions. Tom is definitely struggling on these intermediate conditions. It's on the cusp now. It's not being good for any tyre. So you've got to make the most of any situation. LGS has pitted. So has Bobbert. So has Humperdinck. So has Tom. So has Jonah. And so has Squishy Panda. Everybody else has opted to stay out. So which strategy has worked wonders? Whichever strategy has worked wonders, they can go on with the win today. Only time will tell here in Zandvoort. Don't forget, next week we'll be heading to Spain for the Spanish Grand Prix in Catalonia, of course, where also getting a good qualifying position is crucial, because again, it's another track where you would find it hard to overtake. And yeah, DRS is disabled, so the ones who pitted just now from Humperdinck downwards, they were one as well. The ones who haven't pitted, they're thinking, uh-oh, this could be a huge wake-up call for him. And unfortunate to KC, who's in the chat saying he got rammed in lap 1. A bit of a shame there. But great to see you still supporting in the chat. But here we go. Alfio, Jakey B, Amazed. Amazed goes in as well. King Kong goes in as well. That was close. He almost hit the back of that Mercedes there. Humperdinck is staying out, obviously, because he's on those inters. Going really fast at the moment. Bo is trying to get that race victory. I think this is for the race lead. Nope, it's not, because Jakey and Alfio's opting to stay a lap later than normal has paid off. But the ones that just pitted, like the two Mercedes, like I would say amazed, not work wonders. Jonah's dropped down to 9th place. So definitely it does depend where you are on the track as well. So let us know your predictions. Don't forget, I have not checked penalties. But we haven't seen that many penalties this race. Only the speeding in the pit lane. And we've got a retirement of Count Daegu in sector 3. I think it was the same place he binned it before. It's hard to tell now because his car is gone. I do believe JKB has got past him. Which he does. So 4.5 seconds is the gap now between Jakey and Alfio. Could he get his first win? Bobbers has lost it. Bobbers has lost it into the final corner. Both Humperdinck, Squishy Panda and Tom had got past him. Not quite sure what has happened there. I think he's struggling so much on these wet conditions. But I don't get why, because he did so well when the going got tough in Vietnam in these type of conditions. So maybe he just doesn't like Zandvoort in the wet, or maybe he got caught up in something. It would be interesting to obviously see the POVs going until the end of this Grand Prix. Well, at the end of this Grand Prix. And see how Bobbitt's lost it there. He's got a bit of damage on his right front wing by the looks of things. It doesn't look too bad, but I would say yellow. But yeah, he's definitely lost a bit of downforce as LGS, his teammate, has gone past him at the moment. And we're going to see then, Humperdinck could get another podium. But the only person that can stand way for him to get another podium is Squishy Panda. She is doing absolutely amazing. Squishy Panda could be on for her best result in AOR top tier. And I do believe, if I look at the championship standings, obviously Squishy Panda is in 5th place. Her best result was in China for getting a really good P2. And don't forget, they were really bad conditions in China last week as well. So this tier is well known to getting some wet weather. If it's either a wet quali or a wet race. It has affected the session somehow, and Squishy Panda, she's been taking it like ducks to water, I've got to say. So very proud of her. So, and I love the name as well. I love the name change. But the question is, the ones that are potentially going to get the race victory today are the ones that have probably struggled the least in these conditions. Gap now 5. I think he was 5 tenths off the previous best. Obviously, it is in the weather. It is getting incredibly worse now. Imagine heavy rain around Zandvoort. I would have never wanted to drive in the heavy rain around Zandvoort. It would have been so tricky. I just wouldn't have got the car fully planted in time. But anyway, we're on the final lap of this race. Jakey still leads by 5.2 seconds. And I've got to say, Jakey has driven outstanding here today. He has pulled off a great performance, which I think a majority of people will be proud of. Meanwhile, podium still in sight for Squishy Panda. It is getting quite worse now. If it was still going on for another 50%, it definitely would have gone to heavy rain. You can see it's really hard to see the car in front now. You've got to get your moves absolutely precise as you go through to turn 9 and heading towards turn 10. So there they both go. Let's see. Obviously no DRS. So I think Squishy Panda is going to be relying on penalties. Meanwhile, JKB go past the banking at the moment. He has driven superbly here today. He takes his first win in AOR Tier 1. Congratulations to him this season. He wins in Zandvoort, losing a bit of his end plate, but it didn't matter anyway. Alfio comes across the line in a second place to get his best result in AOR. Humperdinck and Squishy Panda were having a nice battle for the podium, and it all came down to 0.2 per second. Tom in 5th place, King Kong with a good performance in 6th, Amaze in 7th, Jonah in 8th place, LGS in 9th, and Bobbers. He's had 3 race wins in a row, but unfortunately his win streak has come to an end here, but I do believe he is still the championship leader. The fastest lap is set by Jakey B, so he does get the maximum points, so he does get the hat trick. He got the pole, he got the fastest lap, and he got the win with it. So a perfect weekend for Jakey B. He timed that strategy to perfection here today. And we are about to be going through your race results, as the game has given driver of the day to King Continue. And a few people in the chat are already saying they're glad the track is over. In some ways, I agree with them, but for some ways, it is a lot of fun. Much better than Vietnam, I've got to say. But anyway, we have got this guy here. We've got 2 English people on the podium and a Spanish person as well. And we got the Renault constructors on the podium too. So we'll go through your results at the moment. So Jakey B takes the win here today. 6 tenths behind Alfio in 2nd. Humperdinck in 3rd. Squishy Panda in 4th. Tom in 5th place. King Kong in 6th. Amaze in 7th. Jonah in 8th. LGS in 9th. Bobbers rounds up the top 10. And then your non-finishers. We've got 4 non-finishers. Condegu, F1 Delta, John Papp and KC. KC never made the opening lap. So that has been Apex Online Racing Xbox One F1 League. And we hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. It was a lot of fun. And Bobbers is still going to get some points in this. So Bobbers is still going to keep his championship point streak. But will that mistake cost him in races to come? Well, only time will tell. So next week, like I said, we will be at Spain, I believe, if I get my facts right. Yep, in Spain, the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia, where we will host round 6 of the championship. I wonder how these drivers are going to fare. I haven't commentated Spain in AOR for quite a long time, actually, so should be very, very intriguing. I'm in Jess Games 95, and we hope you enjoyed it. Let us know in the chat who you think has been your driver of the day. I've got to say, my driver of the day has got to be, well, I've got to give it to, it's a toughie. I'll have to give it to the race winner. Pole, fastest lap, win. What more can you say, really? So, we will see you next week for the amazing Spanish Grand Prix. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and goodbye.